Hello, welcome to Story Time at the Sandown Public Library. This is our virtual story time. We post this to YouTube every week. I'm Trisha. I do most of the children's programs at the library. Let's see, we are hosting in-house story times now. This is April. The new calendar is published. You can check out the library website at sandownlibrary.us and sign up for an in-person story time. That happens every Thursday at 10 a.m. We're doing outdoor story times, so it will list where we're going to be on that week. Please sign up so I know to expect you. So the first thing we're going to do, well, we're talking about rain today, and I have a video that I want to show you about rain and why it rains. Let's see if I can figure this out. I'm going to share my screen and we want the video of what makes it rain.
Hello, friends. I am Drippy. You know that rain makes the grass green and it makes your garden grow. Have you ever wondered what makes rain, though? Let's learn. How does rain form? First, we will need the sun. So, here is the sun. When the sun shines, the heat of the sun warms the water, turning it into an invisible gas called water vapor. This process, the changing of water into a gas, is called evaporation. Because gas is lighter than liquids, water vapor rises up into the sky, and they further move up into the way from Earth's surface due to the temperature of gas. So, in the sky, the water vapor cools and changes back into tiny water droplets. This change of water vapor into water droplets is called condensation, and it's the opposite of evaporation. Clouds are made up of tiny water droplets, so when condensation occurs in the sky, clouds form and grow. Let's see it from a closer perspective. The droplets bang together and form even bigger drops. When the drops get heavy, they fall because of gravity. They even grow and bump into one another on their journey from the cloud to the ground, and every single raindrop that reaches the ground is made of 1 million of the original tiny water droplets. Raindrops fall on the ground's surface when the sun can shine on them, and the whole process happens again. This whole process is called a water cycle and keeps the water moving from the ground to the sky, fulfilling the water needs of the plants, animals, and people to survive. So, now you know how do raindrops form and fall. Let's summarize called evaporation.
All right, I'm going to go back to my screen. So that was pretty interesting, huh? So the sun heats up the water that's in the puddles or the lakes in the ocean, and it causes the droplets to rise up into the sky and fill the clouds. When the clouds get really full, then they start banging into each other and it rains. And what happens when it rains? The rain comes down from the sky and fills up in the puddles and the lakes and the rivers. Then it happens all over again, and it's called a water cycle. That was pretty cool. I had a really hard time finding a video that was short enough for us to watch on this and didn't have too many technical terms in it. So now let's read a book about rain. I'm going to switch the camera. I have a book right here called Rain. This is written by Robert Callan, and the illustrations are by Donald Cruz. This is a scholastic book. And if you can look really closely at this book, do you see all the words? It says rain, 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 rain. This picture of the rain is made up of words. That's kind of cool. Rain. Wow, that looks just like the picture in that video we watched. Yellow sun. White clouds. Gray clouds. Huh, it must be full of water, right? Now there's no sun. Gray skies. Rain. Here it is again. That picture is made up of the words rain. Rain on green grass. Rain on black roads. Rain on a red car. Rain on orange flowers. Rain on a brown fence. Rain on purple flowers. Rain on a white house. And rain on the green trees. When it rains, everything gets wet. Rain, rain. Well, that was a surprise. Did you expect that? What happens when it's raining and the sun comes back out? The sun reflects on the vapor of the water and forms a rainbow. Remember that? We talked about that last week, the week before, when we were talking about rainbows. You know this guy? It's one of my favorite books. Splat the cat. The rain is a pain. Those are rhyming words, aren't they? This is based on a creation by Robert Scotton, and this is a Scholastic publication. The illustrations are by Robert Eberts, and the text was by Amy Huss-Lin. Splat couldn't wait to spend the whole day in his brand new skates. It was a sunny day. There was one plain little cloud high up in the sky, but it looked far away. Splat jumped and spun and flipped, and that cloud got bigger, and it got closer, and it got darker. Splat tried to skate away. He went left and he went right. That's left and that's right. But the cloud followed and it was gaining on him. Now the cloud looked as big as a plane. It did get bigger, didn't it? Move the camera down a little bit so you can see better. It looked as big as a plane or a train, and it was very gray. It was a dark, stormy gray. The cloud poured rain. Oh, the rain is a pain, Splat complained. That's a lot of rhyming words. Inside, Splat tried to dry off. He shook out his fur. He jiggled his paws. He squeezed his tail. But Splat was still very wet. I'll just air dry, he said, standing in a great big muddy puddle. Splat wondered what to do next. Use your brain, he told himself. He rolled into the living room and built a racetrack. Splat went faster and faster, around and around and around. Before you knew it, splat. Splat picked up one muddy paw and then another. He left a big muddy puddle and a big muddy stain. Mom was not happy. Out, Splat, out, she said. But it's pouring, Splat explained. The rain is a pain. All that skating made Splat hungry. He rolled into the kitchen for some ice cream. Little sister was frosting fish sticks. Little sis had the radio on. Meow Rock began to play. It was Splat's favorite song, so he began to dance and to sing. Splat bumped into little sis and the frosting spilled everywhere. Out, Splat, out, said little sister. I can't go out, said Splat. The rain is a pain. Splat rolled into the dining room. That song made him think of something to do. Let's play musical chairs, Splat said to Seymour. I think Seymour is his friend. Can you see him right there? It's a little mouse. Uh-oh. Splat fell flat. Oh, what do you think that might be? Dad was not happy. Out, Splat, out, he said. It's still pouring, said Splat. That rain is a pain. Uh-oh, look what's happening here. There's Splat. There's little sister. Splat rolled into the hall to take off his skates. Can you predict what's going to happen? Splat's walking this way and little sister's walking this way. Uh-oh. But Splat ran into little sis. Splat! Her plate of frosted fish sticks went flying. Oh no, said little sis, and she reached out in vain. Yikes, yelled Splat. But he caught the plate, and all the fish sticks remained. Mom and Dad heard shouting. They rushed in and ran into Splat, and the fish sticks went everywhere. Everyone slipped on fish sticks. Everyone slid in the muddy puddles down the hall and out the door. Oh no, said Splat. The rain. What does he keep saying? The rain is a... Uh-oh. The rain made a rainbow. So now they're outside having a snack. I thought he was going to say the rain is a pain, right? Because that's the name of that book. The rain is a pain. Well, let's see. I found a really neat book on... Let's switch the camera. One of the fun things about doing this and recording it is I can find books for you through my Kindle and my Amazon books. So let's see if I can share my screen again. And I want, oh, that's not the one I want. Where is the one I want? This book, Rain. This is pretty cool how I can share books with you. This is a book that we don't have at the library, but because I found it online and because we're recording this, I can show it to you. This is a Weatherwise book called Rain. It's written by Helen Cox Cannons, and this is the name of the company that produces the book. Rain is water that falls from clouds. Rain feels wet on your feet. When rain falls, it can be a light rain. This is sometimes called drizzle. I love that word, drizzle. It just feels good on my mouth when I say it, drizzle. When rain falls, it can be a heavy rain. This is sometimes called a downpour. That's when it rains really heavy. In some places, it does not rain for a very long time. There is not enough water. Look what happens when there's no water. See, this is the earth, and it starts to dry up. This is called a drought. Sometimes we have droughts here, although our ground usually does not look like this. But then we have to be careful about not wasting water. In some places, it rains for a long time and there's too much water. That's a lot of water. Sometimes this is called a flood. Look at all that water. One raindrop is made from tiny drops of water, and each tiny drop is called a droplet. When the sun warms the water, some of the water becomes a gas, and this gas is called a vapor, right? We talked about that, and then it goes up into the air. Vapor comes from oceans, rivers, and lakes. Vapors can even come from puddles. Vapors also come from plants and animals, although we usually can't see this vapor. The vapor rises into the air and then it cools down and turns into droplets, and the droplets make the clouds. These droplets join together and form raindrops. When the raindrops get too heavy inside that cloud, they fall to the ground. When it rains, you should probably wear a raincoat. Sometimes you can even use an umbrella. What should you wear on your feet when it rains? Do you have boots? Boots help protect your feet from getting all wet. Sometimes when you just have your shoes on and you get them wet, they feel really yicky to walk in. Rain brings water back down to the earth. It keeps the oceans filled. And we've talked about this. What needs rain to grow? Plants, flowers. Did you know that forests that have a lot of rain are called rainforests? This is a cool little book, huh? Let's see, I have one more to show you. Weather in Spring. This book was written by Martha Rustin, and Gail Saunders Smith was a consulting editor. This is a Capstone Press book. I like this book because it talks about weather in the spring. Spring is here. The weather feels warmer. The sun shines longer each day. That's certainly happening now. I'm going to skip that page. The sun rises earlier each day and it sets later each night. Makes our days longer. Longer days bring warmer weather, and the sunshine has melted the snow. I don't have any snow in my backyard left. How about you? Is it all gone at your house too? Water from the melted snow runs into creeks and rivers. Sometimes waterways flood in the spring. Spring weather changes often. Warm, sunny days follow cool, rainy nights. Storm clouds can sometimes form. Rain falls and lightning flashes and thunder rolls. That happens a lot in the springtime. We don't get too many of these around here. We've talked about these. These are called tornadoes. It's a big twist from the wind. Small storms can sometimes become big storms. Tornadoes might swirl. Spring can be sunny, rainy, and stormy. What kind of weather does the spring bring to your house? All right. I'm gonna stop the screen share. I really like the ability to show you books that I don't necessarily have at the library. It's kind of fun. So I hope you enjoyed this week's story time on rain. Do you remember the sign for rain? Rain. And I'll see you next week. I wonder what we'll talk about next week. I think it's almost Earth Day. What do we do for Earth Day? You'll have to tune in next week. I'll read you another story. See you later.